So the zigzag theory continues to be effective in the NBA playoffs. And in this video, we're going to talk about two games where the series is tied at one game apiece. We'll start it off with the New York Knicks at the Atlanta Hawks, and we'll finish it off with the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's get into it. The Knicks will be a 1.5-point favorite, and the total sits at 215. Both games in this series have been low scoring, and money is coming in on that under. The Knicks took a double-digit lead into the fourth quarter of Game 2. They appeared to have the game in hand, but they ended up losing by a score of 107-106, failing to call a timeout in the dying seconds and then missing a potential game-winning shot. Series now tied 1-1, heading back to Atlanta. Jalen Brunson scored 29 points on 10 of 26 from the field and 4 of 10 from beyond the arc in Game 2. The Knicks as a team shot 45% from the field, 32% from three-point range. They'll look to improve on those numbers here on the road. The Knicks 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 road games. However, they are 6-1 straight up in their last 7 at Atlanta. And the under is 6-1 in the Knicks' last 7 overall, which is not a surprise when you consider that the Knicks rank 28th in the NBA in pace of play, only averaging 100.5 possessions per game. They ranked 5th in the NBA in scoring defense during the regular season, allowing 110.1 points per game. But they got to deal with C.J. McCollum. He went off for 32 points on 12 of 22 from the field, 3 of 10 from three-point range, and scored 5 points at the free throw line, shooting 5 of 7 at the charity stripe. And teams that had an opportunity to pick up McCollum at the trade deadline and did not do it are probably regretting that decision about now. But Jonathan Kuminga off the bench, second on the team in scoring in Game 2, 19 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc, and he played 35 minutes. And you got to ask yourself, he was second on the team in scoring, second on the team in shot attempts. He shot fairly well. He was productive. He is a guy that has been a difference maker in the league. He's got some playing experience. Is there any reason for him not to get 30-plus minutes in Game 3 in Atlanta? Because I can't think of a reason. And if he's going to play 30-plus minutes and he's going to be second on the team in shot attempts, he's going to score more than 12.5 points night in, night out. So we're going to take a look at Kuminga's points total of 12.5. And we're definitely leaning over on that. Atlanta is 14-1 straight up in their last 15 home games, and the under is the predominant trend there. 5-1 in their last 6 versus the Knicks, and the under is 6-3 in Atlanta's last 9 overall. But if I got to play this game, it's not going to be the side. I'd lean under, but we lost some value with the number coming down a bit. I like Jonathan Kuminga over 12.5 points in this game. I just think he's going to get the minutes. He's going to get the attempts. He doesn't have to play particularly well or shoot particularly well to go over this number if he gets those minutes and gets those attempts. So that's your play for Game 1. We'll talk about the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Before we do, you know I got to tell you about the promotions we have available at WagerTalk this summer. And let's get it started with the big one, the Summer Spectacular. I'll try and keep it short because I've been talking about this all week. $594 in savings, $749 gets you every play, every sport through August 31st. Why should you roll with me? Number 1 profit handicapper in Major League Baseball with 4% and 5% plays since 2022. How about the NBA playoffs? That's what you're here for. If you don't follow me on Twitter, at Jesse Schule, go to my pinned tweet, read this article. I've been dominating in the NBA playoffs for decades, but as far as my tenure at WagerTalk, overall record through the last 5 seasons, 202 and 158 for a profit of 64 units. So that's pretty damn solid. We're getting it done in the NBA playoffs. And last but not least, the World Cup's coming up this summer. And I was the number 1 handicapper in the last World Cup. I hit 71% of my plays in the tournament And if you hit 71% in any tournament, you're probably going to finish on top of the leaderboard. But it was no fluke, because I am the #2 all-time profit handicapper in the sport of soccer at WagerTalk. And I'm joined by my man, Ben Burns. He's never lost a 5% play in the sport of soccer. You can get us both from today through the end of the World Cup, $299. You get us both, but you got to go to picksandparlays.net, my page or Ben's page, to get it. Let's get back into the games. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Denver, a 2-point road favorite. The total sits at 234.5, and I'm going to have to focus on the total. I've already got 2 pending series bets on the Denver Nuggets to win the series, so we're going to stay away from the side until I find an advantageous situation that I can't pass up on. So Minnesota won game 2 by a score of 119-114. So that landed right around the listed total for the game. So depending on the value you got or when you bought in, you could have gone under or you could have gone over. But the series is now tied at a game apiece. Minnesota shot 48% from the field, 41% from three-point range, 10 of 30 from the free throw line. And Chris Finch was advocating for more free throws for his team. Well, he got them in game 2. Anthony Edwards, 30 points on 10 of 25 shooting, 3 of 11 from beyond the arc, which is unfortunate for me because I gave out a pick on Anthony Edwards under 2.5 3-point makes. And, you know, in yesterday's video, I had an interesting comment that I want to share with you guys. I love comments like this. I really do. You know, at the end of each video, I say, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. And this guy, he wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I'm seeing a trend here. Most handicappers are better at picking football than NBA. Well, you know, based on what? Based on you watched a video 2 days ago and the picks were no good, or they didn't hit. Not to say they weren't any good, they just didn't hit. Well, yesterday's video, the picks did hit, right? So are you going to put a crown on my head? No. Yeah, small sample size. Don't read too much into small sample sizes ever. If you've been following me for years, you know what kind of handicapper I am. If you've been following me for days or weeks, you're still figuring that out. And refer to the guys in the comments that have been following me for years. So I got to find my place. What was I talking about again? Denver won games 3 and 4 at Minnesota 2 seasons ago when these teams went 7 games, and Denver blew a big lead in game 7. Denver won game 3 the previous season when they played in Minnesota in game 3. So Denver's actually got a pretty strong history of winning in Minnesota in the playoffs. The under is 7-3 in Minnesota's last 10 at home. Anthony Edwards is still banged up. He's listed as questionable with a knee injury. He's obviously going to play, but you got to wonder how long that knee is going to hold up. And I think there's going to be a game where he's going to limp off the court after a fall or after making some contact and, you know, icing his knee and not being very productive. Is that going to be tonight, or is that going to be down the line somewhere? It's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. It might happen tonight. Denver is 13-1 straight up in their last 14 games. So you kind of got to like their chances of bouncing back here. They're an over team. The over is 13-2 in their last 15 on the road. The over is 6-1 in their last 7 overall. But both games so far in this series went under this number, but people continue to bet it up because probably they expect this Denver team to play fast and score a lot of points and be very efficient on offense as they were in the regular season. But it's not the regular season anymore. None of the 5 playoff games between these teams in Minnesota have combined for 234 points. The total, you could get a 234.5 last time I looked. I'll go under the number, under 234.5 in the late game. And in the early game, we're going Jonathan Kuminga over 12.5 points for his points total. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you've got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, I love the nasty comments, ladies and gentlemen. Hit me up in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.